We are Organoid Therapeutics, and we are developing bioartificial organ technologies for the treatment of endocrine disorders. The problem we're trying to address is that there is no cure for many endocrine disorders.
I found out that I had diabetes sometime in the fall of when I was 9 years old, I believe. Every day is different, and it's also almost hour by hour. You wake up, you check your blood sugar, you hope it's in the normal range. If it's low, you have to eat right away. If it's high, you have to give yourself insulin. And you kind of do that constantly throughout the day. And then I have an insulin pump. And so with that, I have to change the site on my insulin pump every 2 to 3 days. And then I also have a continuous glucose monitor on my arm, and that I have to change the site once a week. So it's constant.
Organoid Therapeutics is a Pittsburgh-based biopharma company, and our mission is to develop artificial organ technologies to cure endocrine disorders. We started the company about 18 months ago with SBIR funding from the Department of Defense through DARPA, with the objective of developing an artificial pancreas to cure diabetes. Diabetes is actually the #1 cause of adult onset blindness, non-traumatic amputations, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and kidney failure.
My name is Arthur Castleton, and I'm a stem cell genetic engineer with expertise in immunocompatibility and taking a company from an R&D to preclinical environment.
Our solution to curing diabetes consists of an organoid-based artificial pancreas. Organoids are small cellular spheres composed of the same types of cells as the organs they intend to replace. In this sense, pancreatic organoids are composed of pancreatic cells that have evolved over millions of years to sense glucose levels and secrete insulin. Once developed, these organoids can be implanted in patients via multiple minimally invasive injections, and when a sufficiently large biomass is implanted, these organoids will act as a disseminated pancreas and will be able to restore pancreatic regulation and normal glucose levels. An organoid-based curative approach to diabetes would have many advantages over currently available insulin therapies. For starters, this technology represents a curative rather than treatment approach to diabetes, which from a patient's perspective is inherently better than constant monitoring and injections. Our technology is affordable because treatment does not rely on expensive consumable products such as medication, syringes, and glucometers. Pancreatic organoids can sense circulating glucose levels and are therefore self-regulating, eliminating the need for daily and uncomfortable blood glucose measurements. Pancreatic organoids replicate pancreatic function and therefore provide around-the-clock multi-hormonal support. Finally, a curative approach eliminates long-term complications associated with non-compliance such as amputations, heart disease and stroke, and emergency room visits by eliminating acute, life-threatening emergencies.
I'm Haley Eicher. I'm a biomedical engineer at Organoid Therapeutics.
Hi, my name is Max Van Buskirk. I'm also a biomedical engineer at Organoid Therapeutics. I specialize in biomaterial science.
My job is to maintain the stem cell lines. I manipulate them and make sure that they're growing properly so we can eventually put them into patients with our organoids.
My job is developing a substrate and capsule for protecting the cells when they're being implanted, and then also creating an environment that the cells will naturally differentiate into a pancreatic organoid.
We plan to build a system in which organoids will be created and stored in a centralized bank. From there, they get distributed to our brick and mortar outpatient treatment centers across the world. After a minimally invasive implantation, patients can go home the same day. They would only return to our treatment centers for a long-term follow-up. In terms of market size, there are about 30 million people with diabetes and 80 million people with pre-diabetes in the United States alone. 1 in 4 patients can't afford insulin, and the insulin market is projected to reach $70 billion by 2023.
The objective of our go-to-market strategy is to generate revenue and traction as early as possible, starting right at the point of FDA approval. To do this, we plan to focus on patients with the least number of objections to our therapies. These include patients that need a transplant but are not eligible, patients that have failed hormone therapy, and soldiers that have lost their pancreas as a result of injury in the battlefield. Our penetration strategy to access these patients will primarily take advantage of already established collaborations and partnerships, such as DARPA and the Department of Defense, and the medical centers that will have supported our clinical trials. Additional key partnerships will include pharmaceutical companies and small community hospitals. And lastly, we will rely on an in-house team composed of opinion leaders, clinicians, clinical liaisons, and a recruiting team to execute this strategy.
Ricardo and I started the company. We had been working together for about 10 years before that on artificial organs, tissue engineering, regenerative medicine stuff. And then there was a solicitation by the Department of Defense, specifically DARPA, for an artificial pancreas. So we saw the solicitation and we felt that we were capable of building an artificial pancreas using stem cells and regenerative medicine. So we put together an application, and the application was for a concept for a bioengineered artificial pancreas.
We started the company in 2019 with funding from the Department of Defense, and we utilized those funds to develop a prototype and file a provisional patent. During that same year, we also won important national awards and got accepted into the Schwartz Center Incubator and the I-Corps program from the NSF. In 2020, we got into the Venture Bridge Accelerator and we closed a $1 million pre-seed round in August. We plan to utilize these funds to start animal studies. Lastly, we are looking to establish relationships with biotech-savvy investors who may be interested in participating in our seed round in Q1 of 2021 to initiate preclinical studies.
Our competition can be divided into two groups. The first group are similar startup companies, biopharmaceutical companies that are taking the bioengineered approach to making an artificial pancreas. We believe we have a number of advantages over these companies. First, we are universally compatible to be implanted into the entire patient population. Another advantage with our technology is that we provide multi-hormonal support. We've also designed our technology and our product to be biocompatible in the long term.
All the leadership here are really adamant about developing our careers or helping us pursue any sort of skill that we would want to benefit from, not only for the company, but for ourselves.
We've been working on, the quality documentation as well as a preliminary regulatory pathway for what this is going to look like in the end. Starting from the ground up is a once in a lifetime, in my opinion, experience to witness.
Our core team is composed of engineers, scientists, MBAs, and physicians with decades of experience in tissue engineering, stem cell biology, genetic engineering, and regenerative medicine. Our team is currently focusing on optimizing our technology, establishing key partnerships, formulating a regulatory and business strategy, and developing a quality management system for our products.
We're looking to raise money towards Q4 of this year, and therefore we're trying to establish relationships with venture capitalists that are biotech savvy and can actually help us take the company to the next level. So we're looking for a relationship that goes beyond signing a check and providing us with funding. We're actually looking for active involvement in the development of the company.